Turns out it actually takes a lot of time to film a reading vlog about A Study in Drowning and A Curse for True Love, mainly because I don't have that much time to read and film currently, because I'm preparing for my German language exam. Therefore, I had the idea to do a little TBR planning as a quick video, because I'm going on a trip to Macau and South Korea at the end of the month, and we're gonna be taking, I think, altogether 5 flights, and the longest one is around 8 or 9 hours. So I need a lot of books to keep me company during flying and also during the layovers. Usually I read around 4 to 5 books per month, and I think also for the trip I will be selecting 4 to 5 as well. I don't have the goal to finish all these books during the trip, but I'm looking for a nice selection of books that I can reach for while I'm on this trip. Okay, I have my laptop here with me, and I'm going to use Storygraph to do a little TBR shelf. First of all, a book that I definitely know that I'm gonna be reading during the trip, maybe not on the flight, but maybe during the flight as well, is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. It is 623 pages, are you joking? So I'm going to name it Trip TBR as a label, and that is what I'm going to use basically to mark all of my trip TBR reads. To be honest, I'm not very used to flying long distances, so I'm not exactly sure which genres I will be drawn to. So I'm trying to find a good mixture of basically my favorite genres: fantasy, contemporary, and also a little bit of mystery sprinkled in. So on the fantasy genre, we have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I think it's going to be okay to read on the flight because I already read the first part, Fourth Wing, so it's not gonna be like I don't need to use too many brain cells to concentrate on the world building and the character building or so. So I think it would be a nice book to read during the flight. I'm also not looking for like super emotional reads during the flight. Like I don't want to cry my eyes out at the airport or while on the plane. When it comes to fantasy or books that I'm going to choose, I'm looking for things that are like a little bit easier to digest, that are not gonna like make me want to sob my eyes out while in public. And I think Iron Flame could work really well. Another book that I'm also looking to read during this trip is the second part of the Shepherd King series, I think. I don't know if it's a duology, trilogy, or if it's a longer series, by Rachel Gillig. I read one Dark Window, and you can see for me it was a 4.7 read, so it was a really, really good one. And the second part, Two Twisted Crowns, just came out, so I will be adding this one as well to my little trip TBR list. It is going to be easy because I've read this I think in October, so it's relatively fresh. So hopefully I will have no trouble to get into the second part of the series as well. Okay, so far we have Iron Flame and Two Twisted Crowns. These are both part of a series, so I wouldn't need to use too many brain cells to understand the fantasy world building and the lore. And I think for fantasy that should be enough. Both of them are fairly long books, so 600 pages. And then for Two Twisted Crowns, the page count is 465. So I think I'm set with fantasy for a while. So let's look at contemporary next. To be honest, I am tempted to add Check and Mate from Ellie Hazelwood. It is a very big if, because if you have seen my video about popular books I didn't like the love hypothesis, I didn't like the characters, I didn't like the pacing, I didn't like how the dynamic evolved. The love hypothesis just was not for me. So I'm a little bit concerned of my own sanity. Like, why would I go for Check and Mate if I didn't like Ellie Hazelwood's previous work? I mean, to be fair, ever since reading The Love Hypothesis, I haven't really given her a chance. So maybe I should, and maybe Check and Mate would be the one that will finally convince me of her prowess as a contemporary romance writer. So I will add it to my trip TBR, but not gonna lie, I am expecting to DNF it maybe, but I will give it a try. So Ellie Hazelwood, Check and Mate. Currently it sits at an average rating of 4.3 at Storygraph, which is actually high, so maybe it's gonna be the one that turns me into an Ellie Hazelwood fan. Let's see. So now I have 2 fantasy, 1 contemporary, and I would go for 1 more contemporary simply because my absolute favorite writer is Talia Hibbert. I cannot have a Trip TBR and not add one of her works. So I read the entire Brown Sister series. I also read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute on my first flight when we went to the US in January. And actually that was her first YA book, but I really liked it. It was a solid 4.5 read. It really passed the time nicely and I enjoyed the characters and the usual Talia Hibbert-esque banter. So I'm looking to add another one of her works to my TBR, The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco. I know that she re-released them with new covers that are illustrated, which in my opinion looks a little bit better when it comes to reading them in public. I'm gonna be reading on my e-reader, so the covers don't really influence me, so to speak. Then it's either The Princess Trap or The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco. Let's see what do the descriptions say and decide based on them. So for The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco, we have the description: he's in love, she's faking it. So if you're into the fake dating trope, this could be definitely something for you. So the guy is a football legend who leads a charmed life, rich, successful and internationally adored. No woman or man has ever rejected him until a tattooed goddess blows his mind and captures his heart with just 1 kiss. Talia Hibbert's descriptions are always on point. So this sounds like a really good one. Let me take a peek at The Princess Trap. So here the woman is 30, flirty and done with men. As far as she can tell, they're overrated, overpaid and underperforming in every area of life. But a girl has needs and the smoking hot stranger she just met at the office seems like the perfect one-night stand. Ooh, so it's fake dating against basically office romance? Ooh, that's a hard one because both tropes are not my favorites, but I kind of like them equally. So I might just pick up both and see which one I will like more, let's say after the first like 20 or 30 pages. They are both actually rather short ones, so I might as well just end up reading both during the trip. So for contemporary then we have Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco by Talia Hibbert, and also The Princess Trip. I was literally typing trip and then the title just got jumbled in my mind. The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. For the last book on the list, I actually want to have something that I already mentioned in the previous video. I did the whole Dark Academia Hidden Gems 20 book recommendations video, and there was one book that really stood out to me, and that was This Is How We End Things by R.J. Jacobs, that came out actually this year. And it is labeled by Riley Sager meets If We Were Villains in a compelling new psychological thriller following a tight-knit group of graduate students studying the psychology of lying. To be honest, that is the aspect that caught my eye immediately, the psychology of lying. That sounds really interesting. It sits at like 3.4 average rating out of 114 reviews. Let me look it up real fast on Goodreads. How is it rated? Okay, for Goodreads we have 1,200 ratings and only 3.5 stars. That puts a wrench in my plans a little bit because I really wanted to pick up this book, but maybe not because it was not highly rated. Let's see what people are saying. Downfall was the characters. Okay, so this might not be the best one, but I might as well just go for it to see if I really agree with the negative reviews, or for some reason for me it could also be a phenomenal read. Do you guys, when you see that a book is not that highly rated, I mean 3.5 is not the worst book territory that I ever seen, so I wonder, what do you guys think? Do you usually go for books that are not that highly rated on Goodreads or Storygraph? Do you give them a chance, or do you feel like, yeah, you would rather read something that is tested and proven by most of the readers, and let's say it's rated higher than 4 stars or 3.9 stars? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious. I usually don't pay too much attention. I mean, of course, books that are really highly rated, for the amount of reviews that they've got, I am surprised by it. And for example, if a book is really low rated, like, I don't know, 2 point something stars, chances are I won't pick it up. But around 3.5 is exactly that category where I'm like, could work for me, maybe not, let's see. So yeah, I am interested and now a little bit more intrigued to see why people wouldn't like it. So let's add it to my trip TBR, which means that with This Is How I End Things, I have my final selection. I have a little bit of dark academia, a little bit of contemporary romance, which remains to be seen if I will be drawn to this or less so. And then we have 2 fantasy picks, which are both part of the series where I rated the first book high. So it remains to be seen if the second parts will live up to the hype or if they will fall rather flat. But I'm super excited to get into Iron Flame, 2 Twisted Crowns, Check and Mate, The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco, The Princess Trap, and This Is How We End Things during my trip. I will of course try to vlog a little bit and I will let you know what I thought about these books. Let me know also in the comments below what kind of books do you usually read during your flights or your trips, and if you have any recommendations on quick, easy, light-hearted books to read while traveling, then please also add those as well. That being said, thank you for taking your time to plan my little TBR for my trip with me. I am going to post the reading vlog about A Study in Drowning and A Curse for True Love next. Just be a little bit patient because it is taking me a little bit longer, but I hope it will be worth it in the end. So see you in that next video, and until then, take care, bye!